Hi everybody, Viceroy here. In this video, we're going to be covering the Taken Blight public event. It's actually one of the big reasons I started this series, and it's been the most requested, and for obvious reasons. It's understandable because the game really doesn't do much to guide you towards making this event heroic, and it's not particularly obvious. Anyways, hopefully at the end of this video, you'll be able to curse at the blueberries who ruined this event for you instead of being one. So let's get started. The Taken Blight event occurs, at the time of making this video, somewhat frequently on IO in a couple of places around the map, and every once in a while in the EDZ. At the start of the event, you're going to see a large sphere of dark energy spawn in the air, and nearby, one or more domes of energy with smaller spheres inside. The spheres of both sizes are called blights. You're also going to notice that the domes of energy block damage in both directions. This is important. Now, what's tricky about this event is that there's very little guidance from the game on how to trigger the heroic modifier. The basic win condition, which is communicated to you, is to sting the blight by killing nearby Taken. This is really simple and it comes naturally to most players, so it's easy to see why a lot of them just leap into this task. You can also shoot the small blights inside the domes and deal damage to them, so it's easy to feel like you're doing something right, even if you're not. To make this event heroic, you actually have to avoid stinging the large blight by killing Taken, and instead actually deal damage to the blight directly. Now, normally you can't do this, because it's invulnerable. However, if you step in and out of the blight domes around the event, you'll see down in the corner you're given a buff called Blight Receding. This buff allows you to do direct damage to the large blight. The buff only lasts a short time, a very few seconds, but you can re-up it by simply stepping into and out of the domes again. The large blight takes a lot of damage to trigger the heroic event, so it's best attacked with a few other players. Hopefully you have a few other players who know what they're doing. Obviously there's a good chance that the Taken ads will die in the course of this and cause the large blight to relocate, but don't worry, the blight will move to a new location up to 2 times, so you do have some time to wear it down before you lose your opportunity. After you've dealt enough direct damage to the blight, the event will turn heroic, and a large Taken champion, or Blight Maker, will spawn. This is a simple boss fight, which, with a few coordinated guardians, will be over pretty quickly. The trick is, it's not this part that's really difficult. The real challenge is learning how to get to this point, and doing it before it can be ruined for you by those who don't know. I do have a few pro tips for this event. Because the buff gained from Blight Receding is so brief, it's pretty wise to prioritize burst damage when you're attacking the main blight. Avoid guns like Cold Heart, Prometheus Lens, or anything else that requires a certain amount of time to be locked onto a target, or fusion rifles with a long warm-up time. Instead, I like to lean towards rocket launchers for instant burst damage. Now, because the blight's elevated, cluster rockets like Sins of the Past or Curtain Call aren't a must, so you can use whatever you like. If I had to pick, though, the Wardcliff Coil really shines here because of its crazy burst damage, and because the blight is so large that missing your mini rockets really isn't a problem. Throwing supers like the Dawnblades and the Sunbreakers are also really effective here, but you are going to have to duck in and out of the dome between throws, because your Blight Receding buff is not going to last the length of your super. Lastly, if you're using grenades with continuous effects, like Vortex or Pulse grenades, be sure to duck in and out of the dome after throwing to make sure the buff is applied to the grenade's entire duration. If the buff wears off halfway through the grenade's effect, it will stop being able to damage the blight, and that is wasted damage. The same goes for Hunger Track Voidwalkers, because your Nova Bombs are going to leave behind a Vortex trap, and you don't want to leave that damage behind. Hopefully this video gave you a little bit of enlightenment on how to pass this heroic event, maybe open some eyes, or at the very least entertained you. Let me know what else you'd like to see, or how I can do better next time. Have a good one, guys.
Another Taken champion defeated. Go on.